Hello, good evening, good morning team at SoundSwitch. We've got yet another problem with your software. This time it's to do with a recent update. You've updated basically a fixture for me, which was this orbit that's here. As you can see, it's facing down at the moment. For some reason now, this orbit, not that one, because that one is perfect. That one that's over there is totally ignoring the position cues. It's set up correctly. If I go to say dance floor and I move it, you can see it's moved. It's great. And if I choose like something else, stage right, it'll shift. Yeah, that's all good. That's all working fine. So they're all programmed up and set. But what it's doing is it's completely ignoring stuff that's on the timeline that's specific to it. Now this routine is a really complex one that I've built and I spent, you just don't want to know how many hours I spent on that, trying to work that, days, putting this routine together on this one. Now this one worked perfect from the 17th of September onwards, but as soon as Liam updated this one to try and sort out that fitting and get the ring operating correctly, because it got a bit of a strange anomaly that the software was controlling it in a weird way, it no longer now works. It flashes and it does this, but it doesn't move. This one over here is moving and it's tracking fine and doing what it should do. I have copied in the back end the auto loop. I've tried to create a new one. I've renamed it, copied it. I've gone into Time Machine. I've gone back prior to the 17th and got the copy of that and reinstated that as this one down here. That doesn't work. The problem just goes straight across onto it. Now I know that there's nothing wrong with it because I've got video evidence of the rig. I take videos of each one of the routines, and on the video I can see specifically that this light here is operating perfectly and correctly, and that was on the 17th of September. The only thing that's changed is we've updated that fitting to try and fix that particular issue. So something's happened. I hate to say this, guys, but you've broke something. You've actually broke something somehow. I don't know how you've done it, but you broke something in the back end, so that doesn't work. So what I've done is I tried to copy some of this data across into a completely fresh one, a new auto loop. And I copied these fittings and all this kind of information across. When I did that, it then worked. It then started to operate. Now you might be thinking, well, that's got a problem, that fitting, maybe there's an issue. No, if I go in here and I choose, say, for instance, let's get this one here, blue and yellow. If you look now, you'll see it's working. If I run it, and off it goes. The motion's working great on it. So it's taking all the cues, it's understanding it, but it just has a problem with one specific loop. And this loop was created prior to you making that change. This loop here was created after you made that change. This was a new one based around an orange and blue theme, and this does operate. So what I've got is I've got all this work and all this stuff in here that now, for some reason, I cannot get to copy or move or shift or duplicate out of this loop, because effectively I would have to manually copy all of this stuff across into a fresh auto loop, paste it all back in again. When I do that, there is a problem in SoundSwitch with copying and pasting. When you try and copy and paste certain elements in this, you probably know about this bug already, it doesn't properly copy things like override areas, non-override areas. Sometimes some of the cue points don't go across. Sometimes some of these zones don't properly go across into a fresh one. These very pale, difficult to see zones that are very tricky as a DJ to be able to see. They need to be sorted out. Those need to be made brighter and easier to see, a lot easier. They need to be sorted, those. And you know, there's multiple things I could go into in detail on here that I've found while I've been operating this over the past 2 or 3 months. It really needs some work, guys. It really does. It's got a lot of bugs, a lot of issues in there, a lot of strange anomalies that I find with this software. It's got some very fundamental things that I'm struggling with as well that are missing, that are pretty much mandatory now in most software. So that's a different issue. Those are all different issues with it. But this particular one has now scuppered me a bit. So I'm going to have to hand this back over to you. We've done everything in our power here to try and get this working again. But we have tracked it down to that change that you made. And without actually seeing what you've done and how you've updated and what's happened in the back end of this software, we can't explore this any further with our skills here. And that's what's causing us the issue moving forward on this. If we can see what we're doing, I mean, it was difficult enough trying to locate these things here. You know, they're just like randomly named, you know, like auto loop 1, 4, 5, 6 and so on. We eventually located this one down to 8, auto loop 8. So yeah, so we do need a bit of work on that, and the easiest way for me to explain that was to explain it using a video, and that's why I posted this video, because it's a lot easier for people to, for you guys team-wise, to see what's going off and why this is doing what it's doing, and hopefully we can figure this out together and find out where this bug is and what's happened change-wise, and if so, can we undo it? Can we roll it back? That's the key. Can we put this thing back to where it were again, so we can get the light show and everything running as it was before. So thanks very much anyway. If you've been watching this video, then thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll get it resolved.